squad depth, I think now, especially in England, right, is very critical in order for you to do a championship run. So it's very difficult to pull off like a title winning season, right, without having like a minimum of second 11. That wasn't a red, that wasn't a yellow. Welcome to the Football Kaki. I am your host, Eldat, and I am joined by my fellow Kaki bro, Jordan. As you can see, it's just the two of us again this week. Paul will be coming back soon in the next 1 or 2 episodes, but for the time being, it's just the two of us here, me and Jordan holding the fort. As Singaporeans, in the competing SEA Games, there was a football game that happened between us and our causeway rivals, Malaysia.
What?
I am very sad and disappointed at the fact that despite having such a rich like football culture in which Singaporean absorb football, right, we can lose 7-0. So I
do not
speechless,
represent Singapore. I represent England.
You represent England. You represent England as a Singaporean.
What? Singapore?
I think right, like at this moment, I'm a bit upset So I will not go into that anymore. Yes, although it happened like last week, it's still the fact that it's embarrassing that your own country lose 7-0 to one of your cross-country rivals. That will be left for another time. Hopefully Singapore football does improve over the next few years and that we can get closer to the goals that the association has achieved. I won't go any further than that. In today's episode, we're just going to go through quite a few things today. But first, what we want to say is thank you everybody for joining in today. We hope that you continue to like and subscribe and continue to support us here at the Chit Podcast Network. Today, we're going to talk about quite a few things. So we've got a lot to cover. We've got a UCL to cover. We've got Southampton's relegation. We've got, of course, Mauricio Pochettino coming back into the EPL as officially the manager for Chelsea, what he needs to do, and of course, our favorite topic in terms of the title race, Arsenal, and where or what has gone wrong in terms of that. So with that, let's get into today's episode. And with the first topic, we just want to bring up the UEFA Champions League. So, of course, the games have been played. The second leg is this coming week. So, by the time this game is aired, one of the games will have already been played, which, I'm not wrong, would have been the second leg of Inter versus AC Milan. For that game, the score was actually 2-0, with Inter scoring 2 goals in the first 11 minutes of the match. Generally, the game was quite open, and there was a lot of penetration from both sides. However, because the goals came in very early, and Inter were able to break down Milan through a set piece and, of course, one defensive lapse where there was a very easy open goal to score. George, is this a done deal, or do you think that Inter has the possibility to turn this around? Because I do, from just stats alone,
you mean Milan?
Whether Milan has the ability to turn it around, because it's just based on chances created alone. I would say that Milan were just wasteful rather than Inter defensively was superb. So, what do you think?
There was a lot of chance wasted by Milan. Despite they having the more ball possession than Inter Milan, but the more clinical side one is Inter Milan. So definitely, I don't know how they're gonna overcome the 2-0, but I saw this video clip. I don't know who was it. They gathered all the players like in front of the stands.
Yeah, in front of the fans, right? The ultra, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Is it the owner or something? Yeah. So someone was talking in front to the players at the stands there. Then all the players look them seriously. Then that they just give you a clap.
But the thing is that I'm not sure whether that was for the Champions League or that was for the league.
I think that one was the Champions League after they lost. So it was like a after pep talk.
Is it because I'm not sure, because I saw they had a Serie A logo on the shirt, not the Champions League logo. So it might have been probably on the league game after that But I'm not sure. I think maybe we will just double check this just to get on. But the fact that I agree so it's like, don't you think it's like a bit worrying that the fans have to give you the motivation? Like they have to give you the pep talk.
Yeah, and then for the amount of shot they have taken, 13 shots, only
2 on target.
Mostly a shot off target.
Yeah, because a lot of the shots, they were either long distance or they were just like trying to scruff and shoot. So like I know Tonali hit the post once, but there were a lot of shots where it was mainly, some of it was outside the box. But then they're trying to shoot, then you just like scruff wide or never really threaten like Onana and goal. So do you think it's Inter going through already, or do you think like Milan can turn it around?
Liao was injured. Yeah, so it's like oh, Liao. Really, like I think it's a Liao thing for Milan.
For Milan. So it's likely Inter going through.
Yeah.
You got any score prediction?
Huh?
You got any score prediction?
Score prediction. If they're able to come back, because I think that one was a doubtful thing. If managed to come back, maybe 2-2 again.
So just going for a draw. But either way, if let's say they do 2-2, right, Inter still go through or maybe 4-2. Okay, so for me, I'll go for a draw. Maybe 1-1. 1-1, right? But I do see Inter going through quite easily, because I think it's going to be a tough ask of Milan to actually win 3-0. Considering the fact that in 4 games that they played this year, they have only scored in 1 game. So defensively, Inter has their number. Next game is, of course, the Real Madrid and Manchester City. Final score at the Bernabeu was 1-1, with goals that I think were those are moments of magic that you need in order to beat either one of the teams. With Vinicius Jr. with his long range, and then of course Kevin De Bruyne with the first timer.
Both are super nice goal, man.
Yeah, super nice, dude. Like the De Bruyne one reminded me very of like, you know, Gerrard and Paul's goals.
No,
like the outside foot, then the ball just drop, then penetrate, and just whack. So it's cool to see those type of goals, but the fact that you have to have 2 screamers to just even get a chance at goal show you actually how tight that game is. But they are going to the Etihad. Haaland was relatively well taken care of by both Rudiger and Alaba.
Yeah. But Alaba did a great job.
He did a good job. But I also won't say that it was like he was silent. He had chances. It's just that I think they did a good job covering him. So he did have some impact, but not the usual impact that we see.
Yeah. Like you can see the first half, they were trying to get the first goal to be unlocked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then just cannot unlock.
Correct. But then Vinicius Jr. just scored.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like that. But what do you think either team needs to do to get the edge to get to the final? Let's start with Real Madrid. What do they need to do?
I think Real Madrid need to really continue to have the solidity behind.
Yep.
Like at the back. But they also need to start higher than Man City in terms of their proactiveness, because it's normally the case that the slower one to get into the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
So because it was lucky that Man City did not convert the chances.
Yeah.
Yeah, if not, it will have maybe 2 goals conceded already.
Yeah, I think both Koto and Ederson did a good job in the first leg. There were chances. I do think that it was good defensive work on both ends. But I think for Real Madrid, they just need to, I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's like they need to get the momentum going from the start of the game. Then they need to start really become penetrative and not work themselves into the game. Because I think that at Etihad, City's gonna just start going. So going over to City side, my question also to you is that what does City need to do to actually get the edge over Real Madrid?
I think City is playing City itself got a really big squad, so they rest Stones for the Premier League, they rest Silva for the Premier League. So I'm gonna foresee the same few players that gonna start. I would think maybe for a change, because Silva is not on form as it is. Maybe can change to Julian Alvarez, or even putting Mahrez there on the wing side. Yeah. But then I would think that Bernardo Silva would give a more control in the midfield compared to Mahrez. Yeah.
I would think so, because their skill set is very different. I think Mahrez is more penetrative, whereas Bernardo Silva is more like, a touch and go.
Yeah, from out wide, then dribble in.
Move, quick short bursts of movement and moving here and there. I think that when they look at this, they probably key games is more towards can they get past the defenders? Now that Militao is available, right, it may not be Alaba and Rudiger, starting this game, it may be all three of them. So Ancelotti might change it up, or it might just be Alaba and Militao. I think Haaland needs to get involved a bit more. Then from there, he can really penetrate. Because I think once Haaland breaks free of those two, right, I think he's going to score. So we shall see. Then again, it's Real Madrid. But what's your score prediction? This one?
Wow. As much as now that the mathematically that they will win the Premier League, now I really hope that they will lose. Sorry, this is the reality. Okay, I'm gonna go with Real Madrid.
Real Madrid, score?
I'm gonna go with Hey, wait, away goal plays a part, right?
No more already.
And no more.
Yeah, away goal scrap ready, bro. So away goal scrap ready. So now it's really, if it's a draw, it's extra time. If it's a tie on aggregate after 2 legs, it's extra time.
Okay, then I take 2-2 first.
Oh, you can go extra time.
Yeah.
Then penalty.
Maybe lose in extra time.
Okay, yeah, can. So 1-0, 1 goal in extra time.
Yeah. Correct.
So I take it 3-2 after extra time? Safe to say?
Can. Yeah.
Okay, can. For me, right, I want it 1-0. I want it 2-1 Real Madrid because I don't want Man City to win the treble. But then again, realistically and unbiasedly, I do think that we have to considerably look at the fact that if Real Madrid makes a mistake at the back and Haaland goes through, Real Madrid can win. The Man City can win already.
You know, if Man City go to the final, right? Inter Milan need Jose Mourinho. he needs to repeat it.
Yeah, but Jose managing Roma, so different story already. We shall see. So I think let's just see what's going to happen. Then after that, we will talk about the final and the matchup down when it comes closer to the final. So now we're going to move on to the other piece of big news here around the EPL. We did a relegation episode a few weeks back, and all of us concluded that Southampton was going to get relegated because mathematically they were too far behind. Over the weekend, it's official. After losing 2-0 to Fulham, Southampton's 10-year run in the EPL when they first got promoted back in 11-12. Now then their first season was 12-13. It's officially coming to an end.
Yep.
Sorry. It's sad to see, but they're one of the clubs that we've always seen in the red and white stripes is no longer going to be there anymore. It's going to have a huge impact on them because I know that for a fact that they're going to lose a large share of revenue, especially from TV rights, because the EPL generates a lot more revenue compared to the Championship. So from what I know and what I can see, George, you can chime in after this, is basically based on 21-22. This is not the actual recent statistic, right? But based on EPL revenue share, right, you're looking at about 80 million per team in EPL revenue share, but for the Championship, right, you're looking at about 2 to 3 million. So there's a drop in about 77 million in terms of confirmed revenue share. So if you're doing that and you got to pay off your facility costs, you'll actually probably be running at a deficit if you're in the Championship compared to if you're in the EPL, especially with the players that they have. So with that, the easiest way to make money, right, is to sell players.
James Ward-Prowse, number one.
Is to sell players, right? So number one, I think of all the things that is Mr. James Ward-Prowse. Your Southampton's captain is probably going to have to leave Southampton. So, George, Arsenal, another possible destination, or where do you think he's going to end up?
I mean, James Ward-Prowse.
James Ward-Prowse.
I don't know. He don't really fit the top clubs. He's just good at set piece taking, and this year his set piece taking not that fantastic.
Correct. That's the thing. That's the same issue I have with JWP. Is because I feel like he's a decent passer of the ball. He's more known for his set piece taking and his free kick taking. But in terms of technical ability, I don't really know whether he will usurp some of the big team the bigger players if they talk about big teams. So he may or may not go to one of the top 6. Maybe a middle tier club. If
Leeds survive. I don't know. Yeah, clubs I can think of is like maybe Wolves, but Wolves got Ruben Neves already.
Yes. The quality of the Wolves midfield, I think, is better than James Ward-Prowse. So it may not be a need for them to have.
If Leicester City can make it, they can consider. Because I definitely Yuri Tielemans and James Maddison, one of them are leaving.
Gonna leave already lah.
Yeah.
That one I agree.
But it's like a downgrade.
That's why I don't know. To me, it's very weird because I find that JWP, right, James Ward-Prowse, he's a good player in certain aspects, right? But he's not the type of player that you will look at in terms of overall like capability.
Yeah.
Yeah, that he can say that, okay, he's gonna be a guaranteed starter in maybe like one of the top 6 teams. I think probably maybe mid-table squad or something may be of good use lah. So I was thinking
maybe Fulham can fit well.
Maybe. But what about Newcastle?
Newcastle don't really fit Eddie Howe's
style of play lah.
Yeah. Even some of the current players now for Newcastle, I mean, next time we will talk, like, don't really play well according to Eddie Howe's approach.
Style lah.
Yeah.
Style of play. We shall see lah. So James Ward-Prowse, I don't know lah. I think we shall see where he's gonna fit. Maybe I don't know. I can't really say where he's gonna go. So this one, I think we just KIB first lah. James Ward-Prowse. For those of you who are watching, right, maybe we just see where he fits in future.
Let us know.
Yes, let us know, because the two of us are stumped. We don't really know where he can go lah. I think maybe one player, or maybe there are two that I think maybe might go to either 2 or 3 that maybe might go to either bigger clubs or something like that is Sulemana. I think Sulemana might be a potential candidate for some of the bigger clubs because of his youth and his pace and capability lah. Because he's a good chance creator, I think, in my opinion. You think he'll go anywhere?
This one I don't know. No, I mean, all this kind of. I know you should tell me Theo Walcott.
Bro, Theo Walcott passed his primary lah. I think if you're saying like the old Theo Walcott, the one that wore the Arsenal 14, right? Then okay, maybe lah. But then now Theo Walcott at this current age, no lah, a bit hard.
Yeah,
a bit hard. I don't know. I think Sulemana maybe might be a good fit for some of the bigger clubs, but I don't think he will start. I think it's more for a good squad attacking depth.
Yeah,
like I can see him probably maybe at like Chelsea or maybe United, possibly.
Yeah, he's a good choice. I mean, either United or
Chelsea, right?
Chelsea. Yeah,
because I think his style, he's very penetrative, and he's also can get to the byline. And he can try to find ways to create chances. I do think that it is a possibility that he might have a shot at big clubs, right? And I think that maybe you can get him for a bargain. You don't have to overspend for him. It's a possibility. The next player I think probably would be Che Adams.
Che Adams.
Walao, you.
But
a Singapore reference.
Prone, no.
Injury prone lah, but you gotta admit he's decent quality lah.
Yeah. But ever since I find that when Southampton sell those kind of their key player like Redmond, Shaqiri, Shaqiri was from there, right?
No, Shaqiri was Stoke City.
Oh, okay. I mixed up with their jersey. Yeah. Nathan Redmond and then a few other good players that used to play for Southampton. Ever since their purchase was quite substandard.
Yeah. Okay, to be really honest, right? I find that for Southampton, right, these are only maybe a few that probably can go to somewhere else or like maybe pick up demand. Maybe so Armstrong, Alcaraz also possible candidates. But the thing is that my view about this, right, and this is just my opinion, right? I don't know whether George you agree or not. It's like these are just a handful of names lah that will probably be able to maybe get somewhere. But they're also not names that you would say like, oh, they're gonna be maybe a potential guarantee starter in another big club. Like compared to, let's say, for example, if like Leeds goes down, or like Everton go down, or if like let's say, for example, Leicester City go down. If there are players in those lineups and in those squads where they can potentially easily be guaranteed a spot in another lineup.
Yeah. Surely.
It's tricky for me because I find that like Southampton, the rate may not be as heavy lah.
Yeah. Now that James Ward-Prowse's market value is 36 million now.
It will go down. 100%.
Yeah, it will go down. At least a good 10 million.
I think you probably can get him for maybe 15 or 20.
Yeah.
Maybe about there. I think Kyle Walker-Peters might be the one that maybe people go like, okay, maybe he's a bit of a slightly higher value lah. But I don't think Southampton's going to earn a lot lah. So with that, Southampton is out. It's a bit sad. But like me and Jordan say lah, I don't think they are going to get rid of many players. Or even if they do get rid, right, they're not going to get maximum value for them because they're not the type of players that are going to be like in huge demand.
You think how many seasons they will come back?
Wow, bro, show me on the spot.
1, 2.
I think whatever. 2. Maybe give them 2.
Right.
Because, but I'll say this, if you don't come back within 2 years of getting relegated, right, it's going to be very hard for you to come back already. It's going to be very hard.
Yeah, because you're suppose that you aim to keep the player, like you promise the player next season will go back to Premier League.
Yeah.
Then after that, that's not happening. I have to leave.
Correct. The main thing is that you keep the player, right, to get back in the Premier League. You get back the revenue share.
Yeah.
But the thing is that if you don't go back, right, you essentially lose another 70 plus million that year.
Yeah. The Fulham, what's that player? Petrov, what's that?
Mitrovic.
Mitrovic. He stayed throughout, right? When Fulham went down for championship. He came back up again. Hey, I'm back.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's, I think Fulham, they did it well there where they go down there and immediately come back up. But if you stay more than 2 seasons, you probably likelihood won't be able to get it because you may not have the funding to sustain anymore already for over that long period of time. All right. So that is it for Southampton. Next up, we're going to go to another topic. I think it's more of the relatively big news. Mauricio Pochettino is back in the EPL. He's going to be managing Chelsea, our favorite team in blue, into a new season of Chelsea football. I think it's a good hire, but I don't really know whether or not, right, is he going to have to do a lot more than what was initially thought? Because the weird thing about this, right, is that Thomas Tuchel had this squad at the start of the season. They didn't do very well. Graham Potter, he struggled. Lampard was 006, and then they started getting a bit more momentum. They drew with Nottingham Forest over the weekend. So it's not to say that they are bad, but they also not to say that they are great lah. Especially for the standards of the club that they have had over the past few seasons. I'm not sure how much work does Pochettino have to do, right? But George, what do you think are the main things that when he comes in, right, he has to immediately like change or take head on already to get Chelsea back to where they were?
First, I would hope that they do it as a phase by phase, like a rescue project thing. They really need to sort it out. But I would think that the problem is not too big, but it's not too small either.
Yeah.
They already have invested a good handful of players.
Yes.
They just need a proper system.
Yeah.
Because now this season they have changed 3 managers.
Yeah.
And then the last few games they changed 2 managers. They only managed to get 1 win.
Yes, which is horrible.
8-9 games. Yeah. So looking at the squad, it shouldn't be a big problem. Pochettino need to bring back the confidence level.
Yeah.
The self-belief from each and every players, and then start working their socks off, and then get the trust from the fans again. I believe now the fans are really don't know where to hide. Yeah, I mean, like you see how Arsenal have made the progress. It's painful, but yet I think it's fulfilling lah. So they really need to. I mean, the owners need to also talk to the managers lah. They cannot just buy for the sake of buying it. And
and like if you really think about the players that they brought in, so let's say for example, aside from Callum Mudryk and Enzo Fernandez, right, you got João Felix that was brought in on loan, Sterling, Madueke, players that honestly they are good quality. I just don't understand why they are not, how to say, like being able to fulfill their potential or being able to do and perform well on the pitch. So something mentally there might be just a natural like confidence block because of what's been going on, especially under Graham Potter. So there's this lack of belief that I think Pochettino has to come back. But it's a good thing because I do think that Pochettino is also a player's manager. Like the players do love him. They have a lot of respect for him. As can be seen over like the Spurs squads. And I do think that essentially, if let's say you were to look at this squad of the Spurs team versus this team on paper, I think this Chelsea team is better.
Yeah, to
be really frankly honest. But the other question I want to bring up is that Chelsea do need a striker. So does it mean that they're gonna go to Spurs to ask for Harry Kane?
Same
is it going to happen?
Next door only, neighbor. I don't know, leh. I rather if few seasons ago I would go for Kane. That season where he almost go to Man City.
Yeah.
Yeah, that season he was really prime. But I don't know, this season he really like,
I don't know, like, it's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I don't blame him totally. It's just that because Conte left and all the changing of managers. Yeah.
It didn't help his cause also. And
yeah,
I think that for Kane, right, he's getting older already. He's not young anymore. Yeah, and if he continues on at Spurs, I also do think that it's a waste of a career because he essentially he hasn't won anything at Spurs. But if let's say you have to go over to Chelsea, I think maybe they have a higher chance. But then again, the same thing goes. Pochettino cannot win the big one. It's the common thread that a lot of people always say. So I do think that in terms of squad capability, this Chelsea squad is better than Spurs. I do think that there are a lot of other things that needs to be addressed, predominantly player confidence. And I do think that Todd Bowley is going to give Pochettino the support he requires. It's just that now it's just making sure that if they do bring in players, right, who do they get rid of, right, and are the players the correct people for Chelsea to bring it forward. Plus also, if I'm not wrong, Lukaku's on loan, so he might be coming back. So there may be another possibility where if let's say they don't get for one, he still gets a striker. But enough said about that. I do think that it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. Chelsea is going to move in a direction where now, right, you've got a manager who does have quality, who can motivate his players, who has Premier League experience, who has made it to a Champions League final. It's going to be interesting, but George, do you think Pochettino has the capability to bring Chelsea back to the top? Or is it still the question mark of like, he may or may not have that capability?
No question about it. Surely it's a good step forward. Yeah, I mean, some people may doubt him compared to Tuchel, but I think based on the players that currently they have, like Mikhailo Mudryk, I would think that he really will fit well to Poch system. Then I mean, hopefully Aubameyang will stay to help also, because Aubameyang do recently make mention that he would wish to make a return to Barcelona. I don't know how. Like, why people like to go back to like make a weird return to previous clubs.
But the thing is, Barcelona won the league so
yeah, I mean, then his Lukaku also. I like Inter. I also like Chelsea.
I think like loyalty in football is not as deep as it used to be already. But we won't get into that. Now for our final topic, the one that is dear to our Kaki bro Jordan's heart.
Yeah.
The red part of North London
heart pain,
is causing him a lot of heart pain. George, Arsenal, right? I don't want to ask this question, but I just got to ask, is the title lost already?
Almost, still got a bit of hope.
Positive thinking.
That's why I say Real Madrid will play Man City till extra time until they got dead legs.
But Man City got squad depth So I mean, like, as much as I also feel pain I'll be like, wow, is City win the league again
But I must say, Arsenal, the second part of this season is really not it's supposed to be but I think I will still think that Arteta is still not open up to allowing other players, like doing a much better squad rotations.
Understand.
Like you see when Man City, right, they can have 2 to 3 players that play for Champions League.
Yep.
And then when it comes to Premier League, that 2 to 3 players who will not play will be that a few fresh legs for Premier League.
Yeah.
And then they still got the same intensity.
Yes.
Yeah. But you can see throughout the whole Arsenal when their lineup is almost the same week in, week out.
Yeah.
Only 1 or 2 changes if because of injury.
Yep.
Then for me, I think, I know how Arsenal play. This is how they're going to strategize. Clubs who are smart like Brighton would definitely try to find ways to try
like exploit like that lah.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
yeah. I feel also it's a bit sad because like squad depth, I think now especially in England, right, is very critical in order for you to do a championship run lah. So it's very difficult to pull off like a title winning season, right, without having like a minimum of second 11. I do feel, or at least a half or at least another 7 or 8 players that you can rely on to change out. Clear example, right, is that Haaland's played majority of his games, but the thing is that Alvarez, and he scored in majority of his games.
Yes.
But I think Alvarez is a very good second striker that they can have. He can play as with Haaland, he can play by himself up front. And it also does help at, like, let's say for example midfield, right? If Rodri or Stones, they are being rested, right? Gundogan can play also. Like Gundogan scored the both goals against Leeds. So it's squad depth and getting goals from somewhere is very helpful, right? But it's the thing where I do agree, even in, let's say for example, just in terms of any managerial type of context, I get the point of playing the same 11 because they understand each other. They have the best chemistry and they're the one that works. But you can do that if you're playing maybe like, for example, you get eliminated out of the cup early, of the FA Cup early, maybe in the third round. You get eliminated out of the EFL Cup early, right? You're not in the you're not in the deep phases of the Europa League or the Champions League. So you're talking about maybe at totality, you're playing about 40 to 40, about maybe 45 games the entire season. Like maybe about, no, I won't say 45, maybe like close to 50. Let's say, for example, your group stage games plus your other guys, maybe close to 50, right? Then, okay, maybe you want to stick to 111, right? Okay, maybe possible. But if you're on the verge of maybe like 55 to 60, maybe you're going deep in a cup competition, you're going into knockout phases of the Europa League, you're going deep, then I don't think you can 11 players can play 60 games at a full 90 or the entire year. Like, it's not possible. It's not humanly possible. And especially with the intensity of the games we played. So my next question is going down the line. If let's say for example we wrap up the season with the understanding that City wins, what does Arteta need to improve next year aside from squad rotation?
Really allow those players in the bench got more game time.
Yep,
that's one of them, because you can see players like Fabio Vieira, which I thought supposed to be good. Wow, when he come back, like when he makes some cameo, wow, he really sucks. Yeah. Then Emil Smith-Rowe due to long-term injury, but he came back for a good 2 months already and still not
up to speed yet.
Yeah. I do not know how Arteta makes selection, but I always think that like when Trossard is on hot form, he still prefer to choose Martinelli. Then,
I get it.
Then I don't know, like Arsenal always cursed by striker ghost drought. This Lacazette that time not scoring for a few matches. And then this Kiro Jesus also not scoring for a few matches. Or even like score 1 in 3 games, 4 games. Yeah. I don't know what to say about the striker ghost drought.
I think like you all haven't had like a decent striker since Oba but Oba also had a up and down. Oba also had up and down. I also think that like it didn't help that the World Cup was done in the middle of the season. Because I think, let's say for example, like what we talked about, you're talking about maybe 55 to 60 games a season, right? Then with the World Cup added in, you're talking about another 6 to 7.
Yeah.
So you're close to having your players play maybe about 70 games in a singular season. which is essentially like almost double of your league season, which is crazy. It's very tiring, and you're talking about a game every 3 days on a consistent basis.
Somehow Europa,
Yes.
It is Europa.
Yeah, so it's I don't know. I find it's a bit ridiculous. I think scheduling wise, maybe different topic wise, probably that one needs to be looked in, because I think that you're over exerting the players already. 60 plus games in a singular season, right? Close to 70 is borderline madness to me, especially if you're going deep in club competitions. Which is why City have done that. So City actually going very deep. City probably aside from Man United, probably may have played the most games in the season.
We were 8 points ahead.
Bro, I feel you.
We become like now 4 points ahead.
I've concluded, right, that the only club in EPL, right, that can convert an 8-point deficit, right, into a championship is Man City. It's happened at least twice. Once to Man United, I think this one will probably make you 8-point gap can disappear very quickly. So I think with that, right, bro, are you're still holding out hope for the season, or are you looking forward to next year already?
I'm looking in the market now. already give up. Sorry, Arsenal fans. I'm looking at it in the transfer market now.
I think probably we have to look past this thing. I hope maybe something happens over the last 3 games of the season.
Nottingham Forest.
Yes, Forest, please stay up. If you all can do something, that would be great. But we shall see. And I think probably maybe when we do our overview of the entire season wrap up, right, probably coming down the line, right, we may talk about what went wrong overall. I think that one will be a bit more of an in-depth stuff down the line. So do keep a lookout for that in the future when we do our end season roundup in maybe a couple of weeks time. So we shall see. With that, we are gonna conclude this week's episode of the Football Kaki, and that's it for this week's episode. Alright, so that is it for this week's episode of the Football Kaki, brought to you by the Chit Podcast Network. For those of you who are listening in, we just want to say thank you, and we also want you to tune into our other shows, which are, of course, the Copy Bros every Monday with our fellow bros, Paul, Midet, and Brendan, where they talk about different topics and have fun while they do it. And of course, if you're looking for some fun entertainment, do join in for our game show, the SG Draft Podcast, every Friday, where the whole crew comes together and of course draft about different topics and have fun while we're doing it. You will see the two of us also on that show once in a while. And there's a lot of laughs, there's a lot of fun, there's a lot of joy. We just want to bring you some laughter throughout going into the weekend. So with that, from everybody here at the Chit Podcast Network, we just want to say don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And of course, we wish you a very great week ahead. And thank you for joining us here at the Football Kaki, and we hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.
Go Nottingham Forest.
Yes, go Forest, go Forest. Come on.